Or is it favorable to the public o basig i-trash talk lang ka sa public? Diba? Next is defensibility. If this is the decision that you are going to make, will you be able to defend the constituents? Or will you able to defend your children kung hihiwalayan mo talaga siya? Reversibility. You have to think of the situation. What if you are in the shoe of that person? That is reversibility test. Virtue test. So, is it according to your virtue? Kaya nga sinabi nila, patience is a virtue. Okay? Professional tests. So, sa decision mong yan, are you being professional? Or are you being naive? Or are you being unfair, impartial? You're not professional at all. Colleague test. So what will your colleague feels if that's your decision? What will be the organization's feeling, or what will be the situation of the organization if that's the decision? So that is organization's task. After tests options, make a tentative choice. Okay. So sino ba yung less evil sa mga options na yun? And then make a final choice or action. Okay? So that's the 7-step method of ethical decision making. So among the 3, if I were to choose, I personally, maganda naman itong 7-step. But what is more favorable to me is yung 5 Ps, because it's easy to memorize the 5 Ps, and at the same time, it's easy to identify those things. Ito naman, ang daming steps kasi, although very it is very useful when pag hinimay-himay mo nga siya. At saka, if you have longer time to decide. Okay? Yan. So, what is the importance of ethics? And why do we need to study ethics? So, according to Juneja stated that ethics tries to create a sense of right and wrong in the organization, and often, when the law fails, it is the ethics that may stop organizations from harming the society and the environment. So, it's the ethics. Kaya, every company, hindi lang sila merong legal department. They also have this ethics, business ethics. Kasi, if the law cannot handle it, then the business ethics will come in and decide what to do. It will stop the organization from harming the society or the environment. Just like an example, it's an ethical dilemma between the Coca-Cola and that was open in India. Okay, it was how many years ago? I did not remember it. But the dilemma is this. There is a Coca-Cola plant in India. And then, syempre, if you are going to make a Coca-Cola, it really needs water. So, maganda ang flow ng water because it is nasa memorandum of agreement ng dalawa, which is the Coca-Cola and the people of the community or the government, na may water dapat. And then, ang kukunin ng mga trabahante is yung mga taga-India. That is the usual thing na ginagawa ng mga international companies who go for globalization na business. And then one time, what had happened is that, syempre, when you make the Coke, there is always a residue or kanang waste na pinoproduce ang malaking factory, in which yung residue or yung mga pinoproduce nila na mga waste is napupunta doon sa sewage. Okay? And then, it really damage the sewage and syempre yung maliliit na mga ilog doon sa India. Then doon naliligo ang tao, doon kumukuha ng tubig, doon nangingisda, and so on and so forth. So that was the big problem. So kailangan nila ng tubig na malinis. Ngayon ang Coca-Cola. So they are in a dilemma. So ngayon, there is a law, pero lahat sila may pinaninindigan sa law. Okay? Ngayon, doon na pumasok ang corporate social responsibilities or CSR, which is papasok itong business ethics. Okay? So much with that. So, ito yung mga importance ng ethics. Satisfying basic human needs. Creating credibility. It unites people and leadership. It improves decision-making. It has long-term gains. And it has security of the society. So, that is the importance of ethics. So, ethics and technology. So we have ethics-based approaches. We also have human rights-based approaches. So ethics-based approaches is a framework of decision-making in situations where right and wrong, good and bad are not clearly defined. It's just who is the less evil. Yan yung ethics-based approaches. Who is less unethical and less illegal. Human rights-based approaches, however, it has focus on the experience of the most vulnerable and a holistic recognition of what all members of the society need in order to live with dignity and thrive. That is why, somehow, in some ways, ethics-based approaches and the human rights are conflicting. Just like example for what is going on right now. Yes, I'm still referring to the issue of EJK, okay, about the drug addicts. So the government is doing ethics-based approaches, but the Commission of Human Rights is doing human rights-based approaches. Sabi nila ng human rights, they have the right to live. Sabi naman ng ethics-based approaches, no, they are evil. May kasalanan kami, pero mas may kasalanan sila. Ang dami nilang nire-rape. May mga batang ilang buwan pang nire-rape nila. May nanay. Ganyan. Okay, so that's the problem between the two. Okay. Digital crimes. Kasi nga we're talking about technology. Now let's go to the digital crime. Okay. So, it is also called as cybercrime. Electronic crime and computer crime. It begins when there is illegal activity done to data or information on computer or networks. So on earlier years, most digital crimes are committed in financial field. However, it has evolved to other forms like database breach, phishing scams, fraud, identity theft, that is according to Muhammad. So characteristic of digital crime. Commission of an illegal act using computer system or applications. Okay, have you done that? Okay, so any crime that is done on computer or system or in application. So number 2, no geographic boundaries. So that's the problem of digital crime kasi that has no geographic boundaries. Kahit nga if you file a case to somebody about cybercrime and so on. So, it has no geographic boundaries. So, kahit andun ka pa sa Europe, nagagawa mo yun. Offenders don't leave physical trace, of course. It's very difficult. Unless mga very good in IT ka. Kasi if you are very excellent and intelligent in IT, you are in a circle of community na magkakilala lang din kayo. Sino yung mga hacker dyan? Yes. Alam nila kung sino-sino sila. Okay. But, when they do a crime, they do not leave any physical trace. Of course. Lalong-lalo na yung IP address na tinatawag natin. Veil of anonymity. Of course, always anonymous yan. There is jurisdiction issues. Yes, it has jurisdiction issues because, for example, the one who caused you crime or cybercrime, who badmouthed to you, was from Europe and you are in the Philippines. And the law here in the Philippines has no, and the law in Europe has very conflicting ideas. So, mayroong jurisdiction issues. So, ngayon, kaninong jurisdiction ay follow natin, sa Philippines or doon? So, those are the big issues in digital crimes. Unlike human rights, kasi meron talaga silang common na mga preceding jurisdictions sa human rights international, lalong-lalo na yung mga members sa United Nations. Yun siya, may mga common yan sila. Pero pagdating sa country mo, meron ding mas specific and which is applicable to those who are in our country. So these are the types of digital crimes that is usually happening right now in our society. Number one is phishing. It is a type of attack where actors attempt to trick unsuspecting users into doing something they wouldn't do. Okay? For example, phishing is always done through email. Example is, may nag-send sa'yo ng link. Tapos sabi niya, click the link. Tapos ikaw din nag-click na ng link. Bait pala yun. Bait yun. Anong tawag dyan? Basta bait. Exercise caution on suspicious link on your email. So that is how to avoid that. So for example, ang BDO, nag-send sa imo og chat. Tapos, nagsabi sa'yo na you have to upgrade or update your this and that. Click this link. Tapos, hiningi ang password mo. Okay. You really have to be reminded that hindi ganyan yung ginagawa ng mga banks. Hindi sila humihingi ng password talaga. Even the card number na full, at saka yung pag may credit card ka kasi may sa likod niyan, mayroon niyang verification code or yung CVC. Yun. Hindi yan nila hinihingi. So, pag once may nabasa kayo dyan sa mga email nyo, tapos ang logo niya is BDO or other banks, lalong-lalo na sa mga gumagawa ng mga online bankings, then you shouldn't be tricked about that. You should be aware of that. Ransomware is a crime where users' computer data are encrypted, locked, or stolen. The attacker will then demand ransom payments or exchange of the data. On cases, they are done with RAT or remote access Trojan, a type of malware program that a user can invisibly download through game or email attachment. So, medium kung saan na nangyayari itong ransomware is RAT, game, download, email attachments. For example, you are already, anong tawag dyan, master gamer sa isang game and then nanakaw yung data mo or nanakaw yung username mo, password, and so on and so forth. Kasi nga, pataka lang po kag-download. So, may pumasok na Trojan sa laptop mo. Tapos ngayon, may nagsabi sa'yo, okay, you claim it, but you have to pay it. Okay? Formulate the data recovery plan. Take note, you have to formulate a data recovery plan. So, minsan, sa data recovery plan, nag-a-ask yan sila ng, for example, sa email mo, recovery number, di ba? Or, they're asking a recovery email, another email na kung saan pwede mong ma-recover doon. So, maintain at least 2 local backups that is frequently updated. Next is malware. Some target users' financial information, some spies on online activities, steal personal and financial information or hack into system. So URL, email, attachment, suspicious website, those are the mediums of malware.